Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Going to read through this full article. There's a link in the description. A 17-year-old boy and his best friend, who's 21 years of age, both have been stabbed to death in a horror attack. This happened in Doncaster, England, outside of a pub. So we'll look through the full details there. The article also tells us that a 17-year-old has been arrested by South Yorkshire police. So there's the overview, but we'll look at things more closely. And here are the boys concerned: Janice Kozlovsky's 17 years of age, and Ryan Theobald. So I believe I've got the pictures correct. So we'll look through the article. Tributes have today been paid to a 17-year-old boy and his best friend who were yesterday killed in a knife attack outside a Doncaster bar. Janice Kozlovsky's 17 years of age and Ryan Theobald, 21 years of age, a former midfielder at Doncaster Rovers Football Club, were enjoying a night out before the incident outside the Numbers 15 club, according to Janice's sister, the Number 15's club. A 17-year-old has been arrested by South Yorkshire police and remains in custody. On a GoFundMe for her brother, Rusanda Kozlovska said, "I've just lost my little 17-year-old brother to knife crime in my own home city of Doncaster. We're all heartbroken. I've always seen things like this on the news, but now it's happened to my own family. My heart goes out to the other people who have lost their loved ones over knife crime." So the quote continues: Janice went out on a Friday night in Doncaster after their night out with his friends. An altercation broke out, and Janice and one of his friends, Ryan Theobald, has sadly passed away. He was only 21, both young lads with their whole life ahead of them. Writing on a fundraising page to help cover funeral costs, Ryan's friend Alicia Samba said, "Ryan was loved by so many. He was such a funny, loving and kind-hearted young lad. Ryan was on a night out on Friday night and ended up in an altercation which has ended up with him and his friend Janice losing their lives to knife crime. This heartbreaking tragedy has left his poor mum and sister absolutely heartbroken. Let's raise some money to help Lisa, give him the send-off he deserves. Every penny will help." So let's just pause and see if we can find the GoFundMe. Let's see if we can find that. All right, so I'll just pause a moment. Okay, so I found the GoFundMe from Rusanda Kozlovska, Janice's sister. I believe I have that correct. I'll put a link in the description as well. It looks like they have exceeded their goal. I believe donations are still accepted. I'm not 100% sure how GoFundMe works, but I believe that's the case. So if you do want to donate, the link will be there. The article goes on informing us that a 17-year-old has been arrested following the attacks in outside the Number 15's club in Doncaster. Police were called at 2:39 a.m. to the scene in Silver Street, which has now been cordoned off for a painstaking forensic examination. The 21-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene, and the 17-year-old died in hospital. Yesterday, South Yorkshire Police said, here's a quote, "An investigation has been launched after 3 men were stabbed in Doncaster town centre this morning. Police were called at 2:39 a.m. to reports that 3 men had been stabbed following an altercation outside a licensed premises in Silver Street. Officers attended the scene alongside the ambulance services, and 2 of the men were transported to hospital via ambulance, where one of the men, aged 17, sadly passed away. The 18-year-old remains in hospital with minor injuries. Despite the best efforts of police and paramedics, a further man, aged 21, was also sadly pronounced dead at the scene." Detective Inspector Mark Alton, leading the investigation, has said, "We are keen to hear from anyone who was in the town centre in the early hours of this morning who might have witnessed what happened. If you were in the area at the time, please call the UK contact centre on that number there, or Crime Stoppers. Please get into contact with the appropriate authorities if you have any information." So I'm going to wrap things up there. A dreadful tragedy. 2 dead. 2 dead. Another man injured, but by the sound of it, the third man, an 18-year-old, will be fine by the look of it. But 2 dead, a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old stabbed to death. And a 17-year-old has been arrested. And this happened in Doncaster. I've never been to Doncaster. But that looks like I grew up in England. That looks like a lovely town centre. That looks like a very nice town centre. What a shame for it to be muddied by the death of 2 young men at the prime of their lives, just starting out in life, and they've been taken away. So, of course, condolences to the family. Again, there is a GoFundMe, which I believe is still live, so there's a link there. Prayers and condolences.